Okay, here we go. We're going to call Doris Grady Howell
Oh,
of Uncle Bill's softball team, South Bend, Indiana.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Doris. How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good today.
That's good to hear.
those voices you just heard were Mike Hebler and Doris Grady Howell. In 2024, University of Notre Dame faculty, along with the Institute for Social Concerns, learned about Doris's incredible life from their research on the Foundry Field project. Foundry Field is resurrecting old stories about local African American and Latinx baseball and softball players, as well as renovating a field for public use. One of the stories is from Doris, who was 100 years old at the time of this phone call. 12 of Doris's 100 years were extra special as she toured the Midwest playing on Uncle Bill's All Girls Softball League. I am George Garner from the Indiana University South Bend Civil Rights Heritage Center, and we're telling local history in South Bend's own words.
And maybe we could just start off the conversation with hearing a little bit about your background, your family background. Do you recall why your parents moved to Northern Indiana?
My dad was from Alabama. He was 19 and my mother was 17. My dad just didn't like what was going on and where he came from. So
Doris didn't explain what her father didn't like, but it's safe to guess that he was like so many other African Americans in the U.S. South who fled oppressive racism to find jobs in the North.
Your dad was able to find work up here?
yes, he worked. Yes, he did all kinds of jobs. He was waiter and then he was mechanic and then he worked for a cab company, driving the cabs and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then he worked for the WPA when Roosevelt put that in.
Okay. And you grew up in largely on the east side, right?
Yes, on the east side. Yes.
Mhm. Do you have memories of your neighborhood?
Yeah, we was like our house where we lived wasn't too far from Notre Dame, and we could hear the band practicing every day.
Mhm. And then you went to high school at Central High, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember when you started playing sports?
Well, when I was 16, I was a junior at Central, and Uncle Bill came to our school. Well, before that, he came to see us play. Me and Rinalda.
Doris is talking about Ernest Harris, known to most people as Uncle Bill, and also Renelda Robinson, another player on Uncle Bill's team and the namesake of South Bend's Robinson Community Learning Center.
Me and Rinalda was at the same high school, and so he told us to come and practice and stuff, and that's how we started. I was 16. Rinalda was 17.
And did you know Uncle Bill, or did your family know Uncle Bill before he showed up, or was that
Oh
the
yeah, we
introduction?
knew him. He had a restaurant on the west side. It was called Uncle Bill's. It was like hamburgers and stuff like that. Everybody, all the kids would go there and everything, hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit more about the experience at that restaurant. Sounds like it was a real important place for the community.
It was. It's just like all the high school kids and stuff would hang out there after school and stuff. And I didn't get to go as much because my dad didn't let me go to the west side. But everybody hung out there because he had hamburgers and everything like that. That was more for kids and stuff.
Hmm. Okay, so I'm hearing that if you would have gone to Uncle Bill's restaurant, you would have most likely eaten a hamburger.
I sure would.
Any fries or sodas along with that or other menu
Yeah,
items?
he had all that kind of, yeah.
Could you share a little bit more about Uncle Bill and his wife Aunt Della? Do you remember?
He was great. He was good for like in the neighborhood. He gave away things, for charity and all that stuff. And like some people that didn't have any food or anything, he would take it to them and everything like that. And then some of the kids didn't have a way to get to school. He would drive them to school. He was soft spoken, and he was just, I don't know, just a great person. I never seen him dressed up. He always wore, like, I guess, blue jeans and t-shirts and stuff.
Did he
And
wear a
he was
hat?
just, yeah, he always wore that cap because he was bald headed. And his wife, she was like a lot shorter than him, and she wore, like, every time you see her, she would have the apron on because she was mostly in the restaurant cooking.
Uh-huh. So Uncle Bill so he had seen you play and he had seen Ronelda play for your high school,
Yes,
and then he showed
and
up one day to officially recruit you or ask you to play for
yeah,
his softball team.
asked us to play. Asked my dad and him if we could play, and my dad said yes. So
Doris and Renelda were among the 4 younger members. The other players were older, some were married. That age divide wasn't a problem for anyone. But when Doris started talking about how she and Renelda were from the east side of South Bend, and the others mostly from the west side, that opened up a deeper history about the east side versus west side divide within the African American community.
And were you the only two students at Central High to play on that team?
yes, most of the rest of them were married, and they lived in different places.
Okay. And you and Ronelda were the youngest?
Yes,
Yeah, so you and Ronelda were on the east side.
yes. The rest of them they were from the west side, but I didn't know them until we went on the team.
Mhm. How would you describe the east side versus the west side back in the 1940s?
Well, like the west side didn't like the east side.
I want to underline what Doris just said. The west side didn't like the east side. So many of our oral history narrators talk about the divide between the two sides of town and between the two subcultures within the African American community.
They just thought that the east side was well, thought they was better than the west side, but it wasn't like that. It was just some people thought that. It was just, well, the east side was different, a little different than the west side. But when I went to Central High School, went to Central, well, I got to know both sides, and I got along with them. But some of my friends didn't. So
Now that Doris and Mike talked about Uncle Bill, how Doris was recruited for the team, and the divides between the east and west sides, the conversation moved into Doris playing ball.
Tell us a little bit about the team and the league. How often did you play? Did you practice?
we started like around May like that, and we practiced for about 3 or 4 months, a long time.
Doris, what position did you play?
Shortstop.
Were you also speedy or did you have more power? What was the
I had no power. I mean, I could run some. I could get to the base if I hit a home run or something, or out in the field. But I was more in the infield better.
Yeah. Well, as one who has never hit a home run in his entire life, what did it feel like to hit? What was the feeling when you would hit a home run? What did that feel like?
It was great. We would be, and then everybody, when you got back to the home plate, everybody was, hugging and everything. That was really great. Yeah, but It's just great. Uh-huh.
Uh, I, I love that image and ending on the image of celebration at home plate. Do you know roughly the year when you started playing for Uncle Bill's and then when you would have stopped?
1939, I started. I don't
Okay.
remember. Well, I played for 12 years with Uncle Bill.
Were there other coaches that traveled
No,
with you, or was it just your teammates?
no, just Uncle Bill. He was the only one.
And then, as we understand, Uncle Bill then would have supported players' equipment for most
Well,
of the duration.
we didn't no, we didn't get paid for playing, but the sponsors bought the bats, the gloves, and the uniforms, and paid for the food. That's what we got like that.
Speaking of uniforms, do you remember anything specific about the uniforms in terms of color, or style?
Well, I always say if I had them now, they was the worst looking because we had long pants. It looked like well, if you saw us just you would think it was men because we had long pants and jackets and stuff like the men wore. We didn't have shorts and stuff like that.
Mhm. Do you what about the color?
The colors were like black and black and gray. I think something like that.
And then about how many games would you play in a year? And there was sounds like there was some travel involved?
We I don't remember how many games, but we played a lot. We traveled all over, like Ohio and Michigan and stuff like that. And Gary, we played against Gary. Now, Gary's team was the only black team that we played. The rest was white.
Doris said that the Gary team was the only African American team they played against. That opened up some really important stories about what happened when Doris and her teammates traveled around the Midwest.
Were there any sort of issues of race that came up when you were playing against white teams or traveling?
Yeah. Well, like when we traveled, we couldn't go into the like even like in Laporte, like you couldn't go if we wanted to eat. We had to go to the back door to get the sandwiches. You couldn't eat dinner like that, like when we was traveling. And then we couldn't stay in the hotels, so it's like when we went to Ohio, we had to stay to a funeral home.
Wow.
Wow is right. Despite how Doris and her teammates were treated, they had some incredible experiences. For example, some of you may know of what were called the Negro Leagues, a professional baseball league with all African American players. The Kansas City Monarchs were one of the teams, and Satchel Paige was one of the league's most notable players. Not only did Doris meet Satchel Paige, she played an afternoon game before he did.
See, we played against I don't. You're probably too young for that. We played against the Kansas City Monarchs, the black baseball team. Satchel Paige was on it, and they would come there, and we would play in the matinee.
Did you
I
meet
don't
Satchel
re-
Paige? Did you shake his hand or have a conversation?
Yeah, we took his hand and everything. Yes, and we met their team. Yeah, we met them. We played before they did for the matinee for the baseball team. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't get a ball. I don't know how Rinaldo got the ball. He signed it. Yeah. Hmm.
that's amazing. I want to talk a little bit about the relationship between the Black community in South Bend and Uncle Bill's team, and that Uncle Bill's team and the games were it was a special place and a special um, space for the community to gather. And I'm wondering if you could share a little bit about what that meant from your perspective in terms of the community and its relationship to the team.
Everybody liked our team. They all came out to see us
Hmm.
when we played like at parks today. And a lot of people came, and then the way they got paid, they passed the hat, and everybody would pay something.
Hmm. About how many? What would that look like in the crowd? Would you say about how many people would come out, and Would they be all around the park or sort of behind
Yeah, they'd
the,
be all around the field, like it'd be probably like five rows or something back, all around us. They'd be sitting out, they bring their chairs and stuff and be out there. Some of them sit on the ground and stuff. Get a lot of people, they followed us all the time when we were in South End.
maybe a lot of patrons that would go to Uncle Bill's restaurant were part of this crowd?
Yes, uh-huh. Yeah, that's right. And then other people that lived, the parks where we played in the neighborhoods and stuff, they all came out.
One of the most important parts of this story is the friendship between the teammates.
Yeah, well, we all, with the older ones, they were like took care of us, like when we go out of town. Like I said, they were older, and we were real. Everybody was really friendly and great. We got along well.
Hmm. And you stayed lifelong friends with Renelda.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Any memorable games stick out, or performances, or highlights, if you will, from a game or a season, or anything from on the field?
Well, we had like the Bendix one. They they didn't like us, and we didn't like them because we'd always beat them. And but that was a great game. Every time we played them, we had a lot of fun with that one. Yeah.
The crosstown rivalry.
You're right. Uh huh.
I'm thinking of the experience playing, what that did for a high schooler to be exposed to the larger area and be exposed to these older women. That must have been quite a growing experience for you.
It was. Yes. You're right. Hmm.
Part of the Foundry Field project includes hiring artists to design murals that honor some of the many players in our area. Uncle Bill's players are a part of that.
What would be a hope for you for the children in the neighborhood that are going to be that'll have access to this field that we're building, that will have murals of Uncle Bill's team and other teams from South Bend's history? If we gathered these children and we told them that we had the opportunity to speak to a living player from Uncle Bill's, Doris Grady Howell, 100 years old, and this is what she had to say to you, what would you say to the children?
I would just say because I love playing ball, and I hope they would, play ball and just keep going and don't quit.
And in other words,
Like it.
play ball.
That's right. Just play ball. Yeah.
South Bend's Own Words is a production of the Indiana University South Bend Civil Rights Heritage Center. This episode was produced by Caleb Matz from the Ernestine M. Racklin School of the Arts at IU South Bend. It was written and hosted by me, George Garner. Kevin Tidmarsh was the co-creator, and its theme music was by Josh Woodward. Are you looking for more uncensored conversations about the history of South Bend? Visit us and learn how IU South Bend students inspired the transformation of a once segregated city-owned swimming pool. We offer guided tours and events that help people learn the histories of oppression and resistance throughout this city into today. See and hear more local history or plan your visit, all at crhc.iusb.edu.